50 million, he let the other die. And now, so it's not normal in a business model that the guy who take the risk, he die, and he's the one who died the most, and the other one survived. That doesn't. He work if I sell you a glass or a telephone because you have it immediately. But if it takes 3 years or 5 years to build, you don't know 2008 appear in the middle and now you're dead. So that's a business model that doesn't work. So here the idea is everything you do is at cost, and at the end when the project is finished, now it has a value, you can count on it. Now you pay. Fees for what I'm giving you, and what I'm giving you is really all the advantages possible, because the more you strong, the more my 15% are secure. So that was the first part of the project. So now you can, and I know sometimes he can look arrogant, so I'm sorry if he look like that, but it is not, I promise. We have numbers and proof, and he followed that for the past 10 years, I think, minimum. So what's happened is he's really like going on a parking lot is the best example to me, where you have Ford and Toyota, and you come with 10 S-Class Mercedes, and I choose that, but I could choose any other. And then when people come to look, oh, they're nice, beautiful, how much is the cost? Same price of the Ford. And they say, no, it's impossible. And they say, it doesn't matter. So when you hear the key, give me the money. If you do that, and not because you try to break the market, it's because it costs us cheaper to build the S-Class Mercedes than it costs Ford to build this Ford.
You will not do anything that costs you more than does it brings you.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly.
No sense.
So that was the strategy, because there is too much waste. So when you bring that together, now you have a leverage that is really big. So the goal is to say, okay, I want to sell after I build the first factory. And you understand how hard it is to build the first factory. After I build the first factory to prove the concept, I want to sell the factory as a license to every developer for every city in the world. That's the strategy, okay? So, and I have developers who are really friendly. I have developers who give me $300,000 grant because they were in love. But the guy says, the CEO of one of the biggest developer in America called Toll Brothers, $6 billion a year. He say, look, if I go to my board of directors and I tell them I'm going to be the guinea pig of the first factory, even if the factory is free, he say, they're going to laugh at my face. We have other shit to do. This is what it will be there. So he say, build one and I'll buy you 5. But you have to build one. So to help you, he say, we have a grant every year, private grant that we give to new technology. I will give you all the yearly grant for you, $300,000. And this is my best project manager. You can ask me everything you want about development, at least development in America, and he will make you understand. So that was like 4 years ago now. So we met developer in Vietnam. They're all excited, but they think it's too crazy. They don't know. And a developer, if he has $25 or $30 million, the cost of a factory, he's not going to give that to a factory. He's going to put that into a land to be able to start his project. And because their strategy is not to be the contractor. He don't understand that. Even if you remember when we went to Virginia for Marcus, for the guy of Marcus, I talked to a developer who was spending $110 million at the moment I speak to them. To understand, I say, look, when you went to the bank to take your $110 million loan to construction loan, they say, where that money is going? And he say, but to the contractor. I say, is the contractor working for free? No. So I say, okay, let's say the contractor is honest and he take only 15% profit. 15% is almost $20 million. I say, I just saved you $20 million in your construction. And I give you a better construction. You control everything because he's in the factory, and on top of it is your employee, and all the risk of what a contractor take, they are in your factory. They already set up because the bank will love, because they know what is input. A factory is more sure than try to find product who might increase in cost, to decrease in cost. So because you are more at the core. So I give you all the advantage inside that. You have your own architect, so you don't have to play with the ego of someone else. Everything is inside, and you have a turnkey building. So they love the concept, but they don't know where to start to put the money inside that.
Yeah,
so
you have to prove it.
Exactly.
Concept,
now you understand. So, and it was difficult. And I have friends, people who say, hey, look, I'm working now on trying to find those $30 million because I'm not really a developer. I would like to enter in the world of development. That's the article that you saw now. And I was thinking, fuck, I have to. And then I discovered that the goal of the crypto is not really the money in the beginning. is the relationship between all. The problem we have as a human, now we talk maybe a little bit philosophy, so again, is I don't try to be arrogant, it's just a dream. So the problem we have on humanity, especially on business and on money, is that we work like a microorganism, like a virus. I have to fight for my life, you have to fight for your, and it's like we are enemy in that world where we move. So how a macroorganism works, our body, look, the cell of the nail is different of the cell of the brain, but they all work, put their energy toward the same goal, and they don't have to be the same. I don't believe in communism. So everyone has his role. You are alpha, you are beta, you are delta, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. Your energy today is wasted because there is no system who bring that energy by itself. Already internet did a big chunk of that, because how many things you can find online, you can solve some problem if you really want, so it's there. But imagine you have every factory of the world is related, and they all link unconsciously, I almost want to say, about their knowledge. So for example, in Dubai, they found 15 years ago, an engineer of Dubai thought, hey, we can go higher, because if you build the last 10 story with titanium instead of steel, you can go high, because it's light like aluminum but strong like steel. It just costs 50 times more than both. But it's possible. So this is why they stop at 10. So but Dubai can afford that because they don't care. They had the money at that moment. But that knowledge took, and I know that because my brother was in that room 15 years ago. He's engineer of air and heat, so he electromechanical engineer. It was not that for that, but he was at the meeting where they were talking for the first time, and it took 12 years before that knowledge reached other part of the world. So, and with all the technology we have today, but imagine the knowledge that a factory in Dubai, because they have money, creates, like for example, he'll allow a robot to go 20% faster, like the same night. All the robots of all the factory of the world will go 20% faster. They don't have to have the same experience or the same money. That's what I call, and that the best way to link all that is through the blockchain, because it's decentralized. It could have been a private network, but I believe that
okay. How do you think
and that's
blockchain
more
is
your
working? So blockchain it's a way to make proof contracts, for example.
Exactly.
But it's not to share information. You don't need
No, you're right. But let me tell you why the proof contract is important there. So you have a designer in Timbuktu, architect. In his little computer, he designed a beautiful bathtub. And then you have a factory in Paris who like that design and build it in the factory. They don't need to know each other. That file is an NFT by definition. So you have a smart contract inside the factory who they don't have to sign contract, nothing, who create that file of an NFT, and automatically he give royalty as a fee inside the construction cost to the person. They don't have to know each other, they don't have to. So that's one of the elements.
This makes sense,
yes,
to make it payable and that you have a really strong
knowledge. But now to give you the knowledge part of it, the exchange of that knowledge is the same. So instead of being a battle, we have a friend who are in the Netherlands who are really knowledgeable on recycling water. But about 6 years ago, they didn't have fund anymore, so they had to stop their knowledge as a R&D company, and they had to become salespeople to be able to have more money. So they had to stop their knowledge and block recycled water into one element, which is an acceptable gray water, and stop to work on more and try to sell a product. So imagine that company does that. So we say the same way. So now you are a company in the Netherlands. Let's have a fund. We fund your knowledge, because all the factory of the world can use that knowledge. You don't have to become a salesperson to do it. And you have maybe not an NFT, but another mechanism financially who make you have the money that you need every time, because now you have access to the entire world on your technology. That's also the same.
Yes, it looks like you are doing open source.
Yes, it's a kind of open source.
For constructing.
Yes, that's a good idea. Now
something like creating some Apple invited the
Exactly.
iPhone, and everybody can make his apps and sell it over the shop.
Exactly.
But that's everything works without all this crypto or an NFT thing. So the only thing to have NFT is like it's to prove the brand. So it's just from my point of view.
I agree. Let me go to the last point, and then you tell me if that critique is still working. I'm accepting. He knows I accept all critique because I don't know.
Very critical.
I don't know. But he knows I love that because if you pass the most complicated, you pass. Believe me. We've been doing that all the time. So what's happened is, and I'm really. So what's happened is now there is one element more, and then is the last element of why the crypto. So one element also is that every developer, when he builds the building, he's doing a business plan. It's normal. How much it costs your building. So imagine that business plan going on peer review, coming back after a certain time, whatever we say for 2 weeks, is going to be criticized, corrected, whatever. He's coming back, and then he becomes a smart contract. That smart contract is linked to an escrow account. Escrow account, or in our countries in Europe, is more a notarial account. But it's an automatic notarial account. So that account doesn't spend money unless it's linked to the smart contract. If the smart contract say line number 1.2 million to buy the land, it can be a lot of if, but still there is no release of fund until there is an acceptance on the smart contract. That you know better than every one of us here. So that is creating a security. So now imagine I create a currency where you have a factory, and that factory allows you to build 5 buildings. But I offer you the possibility to 1 building a year, only one per developer in the world, can be free. So which